Dylan Fuse, a person always there for anyone in need, a person dispensing warm hugs with an amazing smile. That's what his obituary says. He died from an overdose last month. Dylan's obituary led us to his mother, Karen Malcolm Smith. It's painful for her to talk about Dylan, but important to talk, writing in his obituary that she hopes sharing her son's story will shed light on the drug addiction epidemic and eliminate the stigma surrounding addiction. How many people called you after this ran, do you think?
Probably a dozen.
A dozen people. Mm-hmm. And what'd they say?
I had 3 addicts. I had people that just said, our son's on heroin. What can we do?
Dylan's mother describes him as spiritual, here praying with his grandfather at the dinner table when he was a little boy. Athletic, too. Got his black belt in Taekwondo. He enjoyed music and was a big outdoorsman. And if there was water around, Dylan was there.
You would never know by looking at him that he was an addict. He was big and strong and athletic and really into good nutrition.
So how did someone like Dylan end up in the grips of heroin? His first taste of opioids came at age 14 when he was seriously injured in an ATV accident.
He was in ICU for a couple of weeks and was on opiates and morphine.
Karen says Dylan later suffered from anxiety and sleeping problems in high school and started smoking marijuana and drinking, something she knows all too well as a recovering member of AA for 20 years.
I understood addiction and I understood how he felt.
Opiates came back into focus during college while in Arizona when Dylan partied with his cousin and good friend.
They would go to parties and the pills were everywhere, that everyone was taking opiates and it was wonderful and it felt great.
But those pills were expensive. A short time later, Karen uncovered a shocking secret.
I found a needle and he admitted to me that he was doing heroin.
And what did you think at that point? I mean,
I just fell to my knees. That was when the first year, when he first started college, I fell to my knees and I just prayed to God to help us.
Karen talked Dylan into going to treatment, and he was happy to go and did well. But during that time, his good friend got caught up in drugs.
My nephew, 4 years ago, died of an overdose.
Karen says Dylan went back on heroin less than a week after his friend died. For the next couple years, Karen says when Dylan took a step forward, he took a step back. She will never forget this picture.
We were looking at a picture of him when he was about 13 or 14, and he said, "Mom, I've never seen this sparkle in my eye again since those days, and I just long to wake up in the morning and feel like I used to and not feel like I was in prison."
Dylan kept trying to break out of his addiction. This is a passport photo taken May 26th. Dylan had agreed to leave the country for treatment. Said he'd go for a year to break his heroin habit. It sounded like he was trying so hard.
He was trying so hard.
This is the last picture taken of Dylan. He didn't make the treatment trip. On June 5th, he was found dead in his bedroom in Anchorage from an overdose, with a needle still stuck in his jeans. And he was holding something.
When he died, he had the crucifix in his hand. And I cannot tell you, I can't tell you what that meant to me.
So this brings us back to the question other parents have asked Karen. What should we do? She says she doesn't have all the answers, but knows she has to do something to save other families from feeling the emptiness and loss her family will feel forever.
And it feels to me now, that I have to do something to continue his legacy so that Dylan can live on and not just be gone.